Vanuatu emits 0.0001% of global emissions, and yet we are the most impacted country by climate change in terms of the natural hazards that affect us. Climate change is already affecting us now, and unfortunately it looks like it's only going to get worse.
We are going to see some of the climate impact on the communities in the island, and also how communities are adapting themselves on the impact of climate change. This big tree has been removed by the sea. This is one of the good example of the tension of the sea on the coastal side. Okay, go. We are currently walking on a road where the community used to walk through. So you can see is all the sea walls that are built, and you can clearly see that the impact of climate change on a sea level rise really breaks out all the adaptation measures when they're building those sea walls to keep the ground, and the people are start losing all the coastal side. We can say that in 5 years' time we will lose all this piece of the land, even though with these adaptation measures that we have in place. We will continuously to adapt, but we cannot stop the impact of the climate change. Now we have that seeds becoming more and more into the communities, and we have the community not far from here. We are so afraid that in the future the sea will reach the communities, and we'll lose all their houses and what they have.
Full population below Mifla lo island or close island below Mifla mainland with them throughout lo Vanuatu Mifla freight too much. Recent from Mifla freight from suppose sea level rise mistap kan tabi kwan. By minim se all island by some lo island below Mifla must lose. By no mokat all island below Mifla, some lo island so small island below Mifla by imi no mokat now. Straight number one time, imi stop lo el plumo. Yes, we want to feel something very stable.
So ikut Mikla tu you send them out message here from the country to
Lots of communities are asking for the government to come in and build sea walls and strengthen sea barriers, that kind of thing. So if we can't do that, then people are going to have to move. And we're already seeing people move, and it's going to happen more and more.
These are some of the grave slab that was used. Some are still under there, and some over there. This is where the cemetery used to be, and it has been affected by climate change, sea level rise. The sea has stuck up most of the graves, and over time we find human bones left. And this is part of a human skeleton. Not sure what part of the body the bone belongs to, but it belongs to someone. In a custom, when some of our relatives die, we always bury them with something special that they own. So this used to be underground in someone's grave, but now these are all the graves that are still here. Most of it are in the sea, and some are still here. The last of the graves are in there.
We are ranked by the United Nations as the country most at risk of natural hazards in the world, and most of that risk is from climate change. Climate change related natural hazards like tropical cyclones getting stronger and more frequent, like heavy rain events, flood events becoming more frequent and more heavy, sea level rise, coastal erosion. We can't really plan for some of these things that happen. You've just always got to be ready, you've got to be resilient. It becomes like you're constantly ready for a disaster.
this is a panel solar installed for this household to use for lightings in the community. One of the goal of the Vanuatu government, which is to become 100% renewable by 2030, and the communities are already taking initiative to tackle that goal. It's important that we, even countries that are impacted by climate change, start using the panels to start reducing the emissions, to show all the other countries that we can reduce our emissions by taking initiatives in our own community. So here we can see what we call the vetiver grass. The vetiver grass is one of the adaptation measures that the community are taking to plant on the coastal side to avoid the soil erosion. So far the community has planted some of the vetiver grass around here, but now it's all taken by sea. So they try to reproduce it here, replant again on the next area by here. This clearly shows that even though they continuously taking the adaptation measures, they are still affected.
If nothing changes, we're just going to get hit more harder and more often by disaster events that are going to cause a lot of damage. They're going to cause people to lose homes. They're going to cause infrastructure to be damaged. We're going to have to continually be in a state of constantly just rebuilding as much as we can, and I don't think we have enough money to do that.
These are the construction workers. They're working on an evacuation site in a village on the top of the hill called Malalio. They're building a classroom which is going to be used as an evacuation center during cyclone season. As part of adaptation to disaster and climate change, World Bank has funded this on the top of the hill so that people can find an evacuation place that is away from all the taking place around the coastal area.
It is very unfair that we have contributed so little, but we are getting the brunt of the impact. And that is why we are joining with many other countries to call on the international community to come up with measures that help us, that compensate us for the damage done by big emitters. We don't have the money. We didn't cause the problem. Large countries which have the money did cause the problem. There's not enough countries contributing to the Green Climate Fund as they should, as they pledged to. Our biggest neighbour, for example, Australia, is one of the biggest emitters in the world. They're not contributing. They've said they're not going to contribute. US is not going to contribute. So if the money is not available through these international agreements that we've all agreed to, what other options do we have to get money? And so that's why we're exploring now whether we can go to court. We can go for legal action to get compensation, to get the money we need to prepare for and climate-proof ourselves.
There used to be a lot of sand, and it almost looked like a bridge when there's a low tide, and people can just walk across to Pele Island, or just little kids can swim across. But now there's no more, and you need a boat to cross over. It's very disappointing not knowing how to help your own community to find ways to adapt to these changes that is happening around us. There was a long white sandy beach here, and it used to stretch out there. There's a lot of kids playing on the beach. Nowadays, you see boats and less of the sandy beaches. What I feel right now is I'm missing all the things that happened in the past, People picnicking out here. Usually this was a barbecue place, but now it's not.